Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here on this Sunday morning at this early hour. Thank you. We are already sort of delayed by about 14 minutes to start the program. We'll set the ball rolling. Karnataka Cardiology Academy is sort of well known to all of you now. It's our seventh program, and we had one online program also. So to make it the 8th CME program at the annual meeting that we are conducting, as usual, we have a mix of topics which are very useful for the physicians as well as many of our colleague friends, cardiologists, for whom also it will be pretty useful. So without wasting much time, let's start the session. Before we go to the starting of session, we would observe a minute of silence as a condolences and memory of a departed soul of Professor Mahabaleshwar Maya, whom we all know, who was a very well-known teacher and a physician. He is also a co-founder of the MERT, who happens to be the co-sponsor of the program today. Let's be in silence for a minute. Thank you. As a tradition that started in the last meeting, we are again going to start today with a panel discussion as all other delegates finish their breakfast and join us. May I invite may I request Dr. Desai to come to the dais along with me to invite rest of the panelists. Professor Desai, please. I also invite Professor Iyengar, Professor C.B. Patil, Professor K.S. Ravindranath, Dr. S.S. Ramesh, Professor S.T. Yaugal, Dr. Bhanuprakash to the dais. So all the people here on the dais are very well-known personalities. Those don't require any introduction to this crowd. All of them have been great teachers of cardiology. They have served mostly in the Jayadeva Institute of Cardiology, and Professor Desai in Ramaya, and Dr. Iyengar in St. John's. Currently, he's with Manipal Hospital. They will be introduced in the due course in detail in the next topics. Let's start the session. So, mics are there?
I'll go there, and we can sit down. All of you have mics, please? Kindly provide some mics to the mics. Yeah, as the mics are getting set up, it is my proud privilege to welcome you all for this panel discussion. When we mooted this idea of entrepreneurship in healthcare, our senior trustees were very, very reluctant, I must tell you this, possibly except Dr. S.S. Ramesh. And you know why? As you learn about the questions, you will understand why he would have said that. Another proponent of this particular session, being the topic of discussion, was my good friend Dr. Prabhakar Koregol. And many of you may not know he is an MBA, and that could explain as to why such a panel discussion is an interesting aspect of a profession here. Let me go forward as the dignitaries that are there on the dais are very well known to you. They will provide the wisdom of nearly 400 plus years of clinical practice in undergraduate, in postgraduate, in postdoctoral, in being faculty, in being administrators, in being entrepreneurs, in being in academic medicine, corporate medicine, teaching hospital medicine, what else you have? If they cannot provide the wisdom to the younger generation, who else would then? I miss my good friend Professor C. N. Manjunath, who happened to be not there today, simply because he's away for yet another assignment that you know already. Being an MP of the country, his responsibilities are far-reaching and not necessarily cardiology. I'm sure Dr. Ravindranath is going to join in a few moments' time. And as we are waiting, you can see a new younger guy here, Dr. Bhanuprakash from Tumkur. You may be wondering as to why is such a young man to be there on the dais. You will know more about it when he talks about it himself. I would request him to kind of give some opinions on the subject that we are going to cover today. Question number one, how many of you can recognize this gentleman? Lived in 1600s, wrote a play called Hamlet, and he is William Shakespeare. Why am I saying this? I am saying this to be or not to be an entrepreneur. That is the question. Just because you have qualification, it doesn't make you an entrepreneur. I'm sure Prabhakar would have learned more about managing the organization, managing enterprise when he obtained his MBA, which was beyond 3 degrees he would have obtained. Taking off the white coat and getting into what color? If you ask a branding consultant, you will know as to each color has connotation. I'm wearing navy blue, it has some connotation. If somebody is wearing red, it has its connotation. So now question is one, should we be an entrepreneur or not in the modern health delivery system? We will start off with the extreme left, who happens to be Dr. Bhanuprakash, because he started his enterprising career immediately and as soon as he could afford to. Dr. Bhanuprakash, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Good morning, one and all. Well, that's a very difficult question to answer because at the end of the day, it's a personal decision. But before, jumping into whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not, we need to understand what are the benefits of being an entrepreneur, what are the risks and challenges that we face as an entrepreneur. Well, when I say benefits, the most important benefit would be the freedom. So as an entrepreneur, you will be independent, you'll be flexible, and decisions can be depending on the individual perspective of whatever values they have, patient-centric, the empathy or humanity, and such stuff.
Okay, can you wind it up in another one sentence?
So it is basically a balance between the risk and the benefit. When you are an entrepreneur, the risks are basically, one thing is, the financial risk that is involved. You have to take the freedom is there, but again, there is a significant risk that is involved, financial and also other risks.
Dr. C.B. Patil was never an entrepreneur, simply because I know him for the last 45 years or 50 years. Since my MBBS days, just after MBBS days. Why he did not want to be entrepreneur? You have any one sentence answer for it?
Basically, am I audible?
Yeah.
Basically, I am a clinician. If I take up entrepreneurship, probably there may be a conflict of interest. Probably I have got 2 jobs there. One is to make a sort of a business there. Second one, I have to complete my clinical, whatever ethics are there. So sometimes there may be a conflict of interest, and probably that may interfere in my work also.
Let me shift to Dr. S.S. Ramesh. He ran an enterprise, and also he was an effective clinician. In fact, he indeed even now attends the primary PCI. May I request his comment just in one sentence or two sentences?
Yeah, I think one of the issues I always feel is entrepreneurship is a little difficult to define. But basically, what it means is you are doing on your own. But I feel in the medical college itself, because if you see, every doctor is an entrepreneur. Whether you set up your private practice as you grow, because it is an entrepreneurship. You have to set up your practice. Unfortunately, we don't get equipped during our MBBS days, though almost 95% of doctors end up as entrepreneurs.
When you are at it, it is said that as the profits grow, your ethics go down. That's what Dr. C.B. Patil was worried about when he wanted to talk about enterprise. Do you have any opinions on that?
Profit is not, I mean, everybody works for some finance, security. Finance is required. Whatever way you define. See, because when you are practicing also, how do you charge a patient? You charge so that you get some money out of, I mean, beyond your expenditure, and that's profit.
Okay, now let's shift to Dr. S.T. Avagal. He had this enterprise in Jaydeva. Now he's quietly retired to his office practice. What does he think about 45 years or 50 years of clinical practice, followed by administration, followed by clinical practice that you have now?
First of all, we should understand entrepreneurship means starting a business. If you look at the whole state, don't look at only Bangalore, whole state, most of the doctors are doing private practice, small nursing homes, they're all entrepreneurs starting, because they have to be administrator, they have to be everything, financial thing, clinical, everything. Government institution is different. Private sector is different. Private sector will have to look at the cost also. Government sector, that responsibility is not there. Only at the treatment side only they will look after.
As was mentioned by Dr. Ramesh, profit is not a very bad idea as long as you are within the limits. And let's go ahead. Let's understand, knowing the nuts and bolts of an enterprise. Economics of an enterprise involves profits and perils. If you get too little profit, you cannot sustain. Ethics, that you will be bothering us. Innovation, if you do not have any innovations, don't get an enterprise. Starting their own clinic, starting a small 10 by 10 clinic, and running it effectively and thinking that you are successful, that is yet to the part of it. Innovation and creative destruction, that I'm sure S.S. Ramesh will talk about it in a second, and new economic opportunities, that creates an enterprise. Let's turn to Dr. S.S. Ramesh. He created a system and he gave so many opportunities for younger generations and also non-medical, paramedical staff, and great growing for him. What does he think about it? Was he successful and was he feeling good about it, or was he getting frustrated?
It's both. It's entrepreneurship has ups and downs. One thing, I see a lot of hospitals coming up, a lot of doctors venturing into new ventures. I would actually answer the last question now, that funding or finance. First and foremost, I think you may not know other things, but a doctor should know finance. Without knowing fundamentals of finance, I don't think one should get into entrepreneurship.
Okay, good point. The father of entrepreneurship is a German, Joseph Schumpeter. He talks about capitalism, socialism, and democracy, and also the creative destruction. Dr. Ramesh took his cath lab to the peripheries, created a small system within the large system, and he ran the enterprise. Now, after getting his MBA, He's also creating a very important address for cardiology in Nagarbhavi area. Let's shift to Dr. Prabhakar. What are the points that you would like to enumerate here at this stage?
Thank you, sir. See, whether you like it or no, every doctor is an entrepreneur. I think Professor Iyengar and Dr. Ramesh agreed with that point. It's only about to what extent you want to be an entrepreneur. Some of us want to be 100% entrepreneurs. Some of us want to be 10% entrepreneur. Second thing is, somehow, most of us, at least our generation, grew up with thinking money and profits are bad things. In themselves, they are not. If they are wrongly gained or wrongly made, they are. So, entrepreneurship is a must today because the people are taking over us and making us work the way they want us to run the businesses. And a pure businessman, pure MBA cannot be as empathetic and as ethical as a doctor.
Okay. Professor Peter Ferdinand Drucker, a famous American Austrian immigrant, talks about if you do not have an enterprise of economic and social potential. Who remembers Yashaswini now?
Yes,
when it was
Professor
created?
Ravindranath says no. Ravindranath says.
Oh, Dr. Ravindranath, please come. We were remembering you as we started the session. Very important addition to the enterprise of entrepreneurship in healthcare. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. And if there is no social potential or economic potential and purposeful creation, entrepreneurship doesn't have any value. Jayadeva represents it. Yashaswini represents it. And CSR in the community hospitals and the corporate hospitals also represent it. In other words, if you do not have social impact, the entrepreneurship is not going to be very useful. Reluctant entrepreneur. For example, if I am forcing upon Dr. Iyengar to be an entrepreneur, will he be reluctant or will he be proactive? Dr. Iyengar, please. In fact, he served the Air Force distinctively, with distinction, chaired St. John's Cardiology, joined academic cardiology in Manipal, and now he is on his own and enjoying his fruitful years of freedom and excellence. Sir.
Yeah, I think before we start any talk, we usually say disclosures. So my disclosure is, I won't call it my misfit here, but probably not so fit to be in this crowd, particularly sitting next to Dr. Ramesh. Now, what was the question?
Question was, if you are asked to be an entrepreneur.
I'm absolutely reluctant. I would say, to be or not to be, I'm not to be an health entrepreneur at all.
If the headhunter walks into your office, will you accept the responsibility of a big medical director's position in an organization which is CSR, which is kind of, you name it, you have it?
The simple answer is no.
No, okay. Let's talk to Dr. Ravindranath, who also has passed through several stages. If he is offered a job like that by a headhunter, which are not new, and he must have already been kind of being requested for. Dr. Ravindranath, please.
See, this entrepreneurship of taking the responsibility and whatever position given, it is more of, I think, particular personality and a phenotype. Just like Iyengar, I also do not fit into taking up the private, somehow in the government organization, it is a different ball game. In a private setup, it is a different situation.
Yeah, Nagar, I really would like to say, reluctant or whatever, an entrepreneur, first and foremost, he should be ready to take risks. If he is risk-averse, I don't think he can become an entrepreneur.
Yes, very correctly. I'm sure, how many of you remember the life story of Professor Mahabaleshwar Maya? He was a teacher par excellence, professor par excellence, administrator par excellence, academic researcher par excellence, When he was tossed around Karnataka state, he decided to call it a day and started an entrepreneur. As he was saying that, he had a fire in the belly to create for himself, and he created not only an institution of great importance and multi-speciality, I'll come to that a little later, and bad enterprise is good for enterprise when the person has a fire in the belly. So, should it be a green field or a brown field? Dr. Ramesh, please.
Sorry?
Should it be a green field enterprise or a brown field enterprise?
In the
Green field
beginning,
is something like going to a place like what? Bidar and setting up a A+++ cardiology organization. That is green field. Brown field is within your Vijayanagara area and create one. Where do you want to prefer?
No, in the beginning, unless you have deep pockets, you have good finance, I feel brownfield is always better. And once you have the mass, you feel you can sustain, then a greenfield is there. But if you want to expand, you want to do multiple projects, then it has to be a brownfield, because greenfield takes a lot of gestation.
Okay. Okay. Now, in fact, gestation is the right word. Dr. Bhanuprakash moved to place away from Bangalore, and it's almost like a green field. Do you have any thoughts about it?
Definitely, sir. I think it is all about the balance between the care and the availability, accessibility. So I think in our, when we talk about healthcare in India, I think we have the best of the best hospitals, but they are all segregated to metros. So I think decentralization is one thing, and accessibility to healthcare is what is lacking in India. So I think
already it is happening across the state and across Kerala. His example is in front of us today, Dr. P.P. Mohanan, and I see that he's getting restless. I have to kind of run through these questions. You can see here the multitasking by an entrepreneur. We are all famous for. We don't want to give up our core kind of control activities. And to be an artist or a writer, you require a business of serious noticing. Cardiology Academy does it for all of us. And does it apply to the doctor too? Brand and branding, a great question to be asked for all of us. And entrepreneurship, burnout is yet another question. Work-life balance and entrepreneurship. I want Dr. Ramesh to comment on this quickly in one sentence, please.
It is going to be difficult. Work-life balance, it's not
Hold the mic, hold the mic.
You have both the responsibilities. One, of course, as a cardiologist, as well as looking after others' welfare. So that becomes a priority, and then your work-life balance is a very difficult issue. You should have a very supportive family.
Okay.
I think that's important.
You have one. Okay. Incubating an enterprise in healthcare, in how long should I wait? Until I close down my office, until I close down my shop. We can discuss during the lunch hour. And how to grow big, scaling up one's enterprise. Dr. Ramesh was talking about it some time ago. Fire in the belly can create such an opportunity. Taking guard, should it be team or individual enterprise? You can discuss that with your mentors. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Single or multi-locational, Dr. Ramesh was talking about it. Visibility in the space that you have, that's why you see so many corporate labels getting kind of converted overnight, that Manipals, Apollos, Fruities, and what else you have. St. John's doesn't do that, right? Although non-medical people are doing it already. Very interesting. Is an MBA must to be successful? Dr. Prabhakar, please.
It helps.
Okay, thank you so much. How about Dr. Bhanuprakash? He is not MBA.
It is not absolutely required, sir, but it's basically developing the skills. So if you have management and leadership skills, which anybody can develop, I think MBA, of course it helps, but it's not essential.
How to recognize one's need for education, you can discuss with your, some of the people are here. You can do that. Should I continue my clinical work once I turn into an entrepreneur, we'll discuss that. Wearing multiple hats in a private entrepreneurship. Remember, highly successful book by Stephen Covey, Core Competence, whether you want to give it up or not, is a question mark. Many surgeons are being questioned, are they operating or not? Super specialization and subspecialization, is it a limitation? Narcissistic tendencies, cardiologists are very famous for, and managing the enterprise becomes difficult when the medical director is an MBA and his bottom line has been kind of given a kind of a diktat by the owners. Okay, knowing one's adversary, competition. Dr. Bhanu, do you have any issues with it?
Well, yes, sir. Competition is a good thing. So I think
you think it is good? Okay.
Yes, absolutely,
Dr. Prabhakar,
sir.
what do you think?
Knowing is important, but you don't have to act based on it.
Okay, good. Comparing notes, watching the trends. If you are doing the same valvuloplasty or same angioplasty, not upgrading yourself, then you are left to lurch in the communities. Okay, is there any deep state in the healthcare? Corporate medicine should ask it. Dr. Ramesh, please. Are there anybody you think that, they are scheming against private enterprise when compared to the government enterprise, or between the private enterprise? Is there any kind of a deep state? Deep state is a term that is used in a common sense now, wherein there's somebody who is working against you, and somebody else is funding that particular enterprise.
Yeah, the previous two, this question are almost complementary in a sense. There is the competition. As long as it's healthy competition, it's fine. But when the competition becomes little ugly, that deep state comes in. It does happen, especially as you succeed, somebody is trying to pull your leg. You need to know that and be aware and take care of that.
My toolkit, again a very famous word nowadays, you could learn from one of the occupants of these chairs. Okay, funding and sources. Dr. Prakash, Dr. Bhanuprakash, Dr. S.S. Ramesh were talking about it. No loan, no pain, and no gain. Balancing the budget in a health enterprise, I'm sure Dr. S.S. Ramesh was talking about it. So, you have to be careful. Without knowing the budget, there's nothing called an expenditure budget, which is uncontrolled, and revenue budget, which is so limited. And how long somebody is going to support you. So long live human entrepreneurship. It contributes to the overall growth of the society. Without private enterprise, the government enterprise may not go beyond a point. And in fact, government enterprise got kind of enthused, in my opinion, by the private enterprise. Comparability that exists, as our doyens of Jayadeva sitting in front of us, like Dr. Ravindranath, Dr. Iyengar, and others in the community that we have seen here, suggesting that for the overall growth of the care, or healthcare in particular, we require human entrepreneurship. Let it happen in private, let it happen in much more in plenty in the government sector, so that the people are going to enjoy the fruits of human enterprise, be it at the individual level, be it at the team level, be it at the brown field, be it at the green field. And thanks, trustees of CCA, and also Professor Ravindranath for having provided this leadership, and also Dr. Iyengar, Dr. Bhanuprakash. And I'm going to hand over this session to Dr. Prabhakar for the next session.
Just a couple of...
yeah, sure, please.
Just by experience.
I love to do that for another half an hour also. Please.
No, just one is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you should also be a leader. When I say a leader, you should be on top of everything. It is not possible, it's my own experience also, that you can't lean to somebody else. You may be a doctor, but you should know finance, you should know some amount of administration, you should know some laws, important laws, which you can't just say somebody else will do. You are a leader. And second is, many of them think that starting an entrepreneurship is just having a capital, put up a big building, put up a big equipment, and everything will happen. It won't happen. You have to have a working capital. Please plan for working capital. Without it, you won't succeed.
Yeah, I think healthcare enterprise, sits in the intersection of medicine, business, and social responsibility. So if you're able to handle all these things, please go ahead. Otherwise, stick to medicine.
There has to be, I think, first they should have a passion to do that, and there should be a real-world ground experience. Real-world experience should be there. Of course, we need a venture capitalist. We should think of business scale also in addition to passion. And whatever we do, it should be need-based. Suppose if it should be accessible and affordable, naturally that will grow.
This thing at my stage of life would be start something. All of us need something that we want to call ourselves. Nurture it and grow it. But in the journey, learn to delegate and lower your expectations. Just because you are an excellent cardiologist doesn't mean your housekeeping staff will be as excellent as you when you go on to the entrepreneurship. If you follow the delegation growth, you will reach somewhere, which is a necessity 10 years from now, if not today.
Thank you. Please, all of us stand up and we'll have a quick
Thank you, sir. That was a very enlightening discussion in the morning. Of course, I know it's a very short time. Next weekend, in fact, we are having one full conference on that. It's called as Docpreneurship. Doctors as an entrepreneurs, where we have lots of talks. If any of you are interested, I can share the details for you to join in that. And we go to the didactic lectures. Before that, we'll have a duty of praying to the Lord and seeking His blessings for the program. May I invite all the trustees of the Karnataka Cardiology Academy to join in, and I also request our lead speaker of the day, Professor P.P. Mohanan from Thrissur, Kerala, to join for the inauguration of the program. Professor Iyengar, who represent the MERT, our co-sponsors for today, to join us. To the lamping and seek the prayers. Music.